What's going on, Tamers? East here, and today I want to talk about this fella here, Apocalypse, one of the secret rares for the BT15 Exceed Apocalypse set. As of the making of this video, it is currently the release date of the BT15 set, and already an overwhelming amount of people feel that this card is a problem. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about him, what he does, and why people are so worried. So let's first talk about what he does. The BT15 set introduces the Dark Masters, Machine Dramon, Puppetmon, Metal Sea Dramon, and Piedmon alongside Apocalypse. The general gist of the cards is that you want to sink as many of the Dark Masters into the trash as fast as possible, and then you can play your Apocalypse. When he's played, you can put up to 3 Dark Masters from your battle area or your trash up under him as sources, and you can reduce his play cost by 4 for each one. Then, at the end of the turn, by putting a level 6 or lower card from your trash into his sources, you can activate that card's on play effect. After that, for every level 6 card in his sources, your opponent trashes 2 cards from the top of their deck. This means, on the turn you play him, taking full advantage of the effect, you can mill about 8 cards from your opponent's deck. And the current problem is that people believe this is a little too much. Considering the standard 50 card deck, you start your hand with 5 cards and your security with 5 cards. And over the course of the game you draw and digivolve and go through your deck at least a little bit. You'll likely lose the game 2 turns after Apocalypse appears. But you're probably thinking, in this case you should just kill him. And this is where the problem compounds. Remember that hand effect that lets you put a card in your sources and then activate its on play effect? It turns out there are some pretty powerful effects he can use. The Dark Master's on play effects are already pretty diverse. Things like de-digivolving 2 stages, destroying an active Digimon, bottom decking a level 5 or lower, or bottom decking a rested Digimon. But if you venture outside of the Dark Masters, these effects get even scarier. For example, EX3's Magnadramon gives everything a blanket security attack -1. BT13 Craniumon makes him untouchable by opponents' Digimon's effects. And probably the most sinister of all is the EX3 Metallic Dramon, who de-digivolves everything 1 stage, then he destroys a 5 cost or lower. And if nothing was destroyed from this effect, your opponent cannot digivolve any of their active Digimon next turn. And then on top of all of this, the Dark Masters give him some pretty useful inheritance effects like Blocker, Retaliation, and Reboot to shore up your defenses. So then we've established he is pretty nasty once he's set up. So then the next question is, well, how hard is it to set this card up? In this time of great need, Apocalypse looks to traditional purple discard tools like BT2 Gabumon and BT7 Eismon Scatter Mode, who allow you to draw 2, discard 1, and draw 3, discard 2 respectively. If that's not your style, there are also some more modern options like the starter deck 16 Gabumon and Garurumon alongside the EX5 Garurumon X-Antibody. I'm going to skip past the details here, but all you really need to know is that this stack can go through about 7 cards when all is said and done. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the new purple Digi-Egg for this set, Demi-Meramon, lets you additionally discard a level 5 or higher from your hand and then draw 2 cards. So with either of these stacks, the traditional Gabumon, Eismon, or the Gabumon line, for more recent stuff, you can pretty much go through a minimum 8 cards of your deck to find and pitch the Dark Masters plus 1 extra card for Apocalypse's mill effect. And this is where the problem comes in. It's not really a high roll to get your Apocalypse down by turn 2. Another cute tech that I've seen is adding in EX4's Black Megalo Growlmon to force both players to discard 3 cards while taking care of any threats on board. Another issue here is that if you do destroy Apocalypse, the materials for the first one can just be reused for a second with no additional setup necessary. So to loop back around on all of this, on day 1 Apocalypse feels game-warpingly powerful. Some people have posed that there may be some hard counters to the deck. For example, decks that don't mind if you trash cards for them, like a certain Beelzemon or Red Hybrid. Keep in mind, all this is conjecture as we're still only 24 hours into the set, and a lot of people say this card should be limited to 1 or outright banned for how game warping it is. Other people are saying that the problem might not necessarily be Apocalypse, but rather the cards let him set up so quickly. Things like the Eismon Scatter Mode and the Garurumon X-Antibody. That being said, where do you folks fall in the issue? Should Apocalypse or any of his enablers be restricted or banned? Should we let him roam free for now and then see what develops? Personally, I'm of the mindset to at least give it a month or so we can see if any counters emerge naturally. Anyways folks, just wanted to keep you in the loop with the latest Digimon news, but that's going to wrap this one up. I'm going to get out of here. Before you get out of here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.